we haven't seen this many of Australian journalists reporting from China for a long time. At this moment, for the long-term correspondent, we only have Will Glasgow working as the China correspondent for the Australian. None of the rest of Australian media outlets have a correspondent working on a long-term journalist visa in China right now. Apart from this, we have Stephen McDonald as an Australian journalist, but working for the British Broadcasting Corporation for a number of years already. So the difficulty and the barrier of Australian journalists reporting from China is still existing. China is more inclined to provide a temporary visa for Australian journalists to cover events like this. It's a special occasion and it's a special treatment. But we have to keep it in mind that it's not just Australian journalists. Journalists from all Western democracies, including the UK, the United States, and Canada, are all facing the same issue. But diplomacy is a key element in the decision-making process by Beijing. With a good relationship, hopefully that's a good beginning for two governments to negotiate and discuss about how to get journalists back to report from the ground.
Bang, tell us what has been most significant about this trip for both sides?
This is a very significant trip for the Australian side, given that what the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has described, it is a trip to secure Australian jobs. They are looking after the trade, the tourism, and also the cooperation in education and technology with the Chinese counterparts. It's also important because normally an official trip by the Prime Minister to China are always described by the public as a symbolic move. But this time it's different because from the language both sides have used, it looks like it is a reset of the relationship, comparing it with the time when the Prime Minister went to China in 2023. This time, the case is a little bit different. We have removed all of the trade barriers by the Chinese government. We've got this huge tourism campaign established between Tourism Australia and Trip.com, which is a very big Chinese company. And the Chinese President Xi Jinping also invited Anthony Albanese for a private lunch, which is very unusual because he bypassed the Euro protocol to allow the Premier to host the Prime Minister from Australia because they are the official counterparts with each other. So I think from all aspects, this is a very important trip for Australia.
And how has the media in China covered this trip?
The media coverage in China has been very warm. As far as I can see, the language they use and the platform they got the news on are all giving a lot of significance to Anthony Albanese's visits. Especially on China's CCTV news bulletin at 7 p.m. every night on Tuesday, there was a 4-minute segment specifically mentioning the conversation between the President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. They emphasized on the term that the Chinese diplomats always use, which is seek common while reserving differences, which is a really big recognition, as in they see the differences in the value and the systematic operational issues between two countries, but they see the common interests that is for the peoples of two countries.
Bang, really good to get your views. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Yvonne.